Hi Flosstube, welcome to my channel. My name is Kim and I am Barbara's daughter. It has been a while since I made a video. I think I was trying to do every 2 weeks and I think it's been like 3.5. So I have a lot of things to share with you. I've been stitching a lot and I have a lot of haul. And I also have been getting into back into some quilting. So I have some of that to show at the end in case you're interested in that. And yeah, I hope you're all doing well. We are really this time almost finished with the basement. Adam, as we speak, is laying the floors down there. And after that, once the floors are done, he just has to put the baseboard trim around, which he's already painted. So I feel like the next time I do a video, I may be filming, no promises, but I may be filming from the new craft area in the basement. It will definitely not be set up yet, but I think I probably will have like a table and a chair down there at least. So I've been kind of trying to clean up and organize stuff that I have up here in the guest room, which is a huge mess. I only show you like this one little section by the door because the rest of the room is a disaster. And so I'm trying to organize that and think about how I want to store everything down there. So I'm super excited to have a space that's dedicated to the crafts that I like to do. I don't know that I will be like cross-stitching down there too often because I like to cross-stitch while I watch TV in the living room and everything, but I will definitely be finishing things down there and doing some quilting and other crafts and stuff. So I'm excited about that. Let's get started with what I've worked on the past few weeks. Lots of stuff. Sometimes I go through phases where I work on one project for a while. This time I was going through like every day or two I wanted to start something. So I have, I think, 9 things to show you from the past 3 weeks. And I made decent progress on them, each of them. I've been able to really do a lot of stitching lately, which is great. I am finishing up my set of classes. I have 1 more week and then I have a week off. So that week off, I'll be doing a lot of stitching. And then I have my summer session for grad school starts mid-May and I've got 4 classes to do and then I am done. So we're moving right along with that, get that done and more time for stitching. So the first thing that I worked on after I did my last video is the Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 Sal Fruits of Plenty. And I have done January, February, and March. So I finished March and I haven't started April yet. I'm actually planning on doing that starting today and just working on it this week until I get it done. April is like this section in here. I am doing this on 36 count. Picture this plus ale. And this is a silk thread from Mrs. Sadis. It doesn't have a name, I don't think, but it's number 14 and I absolutely love it. I feel like it's coming out pretty well on the picture here, but it really has some very light spots in it. The variegation's really nice and I'm not sure if they're coming across really well, but I love this. I really enjoy stitching on it. The thing about this, you know, you stitch on it, you finish a section and you kind of want to keep stitching, but you don't have the next section. And that's really good because then every time I get another section, I really want to work on it. So I am keeping up and I hope to continue keeping up with this and have it done in December. I really am also enjoying the monochromatic aspect of it. I don't do a whole lot of monochromatic stitching, but I have been doing more lately and I really am enjoying that. Sometimes I like a lot of different colors, but it's also nice to just not think about changing colors. The next thing I did was a new start. I've had this one for a while, a couple years. It's 272 words by Primrose Needleworks. And it's just a lot of words. So I started this and what I thought I would do is, oh, I'll just do like a thread a day like everybody does with their things. That lasted like 2 days. So I'm just gonna have to, you know, stitch on this for a day or 2 and then put it down because I'm bored with words and then go back to it again. I have not gotten super far on this, but I really like the fabric. It is XG Designs Rustic Drab. And this is a fat half because, I'm gonna hold it back here, because it needs more than a fat quarter. And I don't think it's gonna need the whole fat half lengthwise, but it definitely needed more than a fat quarter widthwise. So I have just done a little bit to get started. And I'm not using the called for threads. I'm using a bunch of Victorian Motto threads. So I have Ancient Red Victorian Motto for the red, and I have Maple Candy and Carriage Seat for the two brown golds colors that are in there. And then the green is Crocodile. I have Classic Colorworks Nighty Night for the blue and Bamboo for the white. There's not a lot of white in there, but yeah, so this is one of those things that I really want to get done, but I don't necessarily really want to stitch on just because it's not that exciting. But I figure if I just keep doing a little bit every week, it'll eventually get done. I am going to hopefully have a whole bunch of patriotic finishes to add to my patriotic wall at some point. So that was a fun one to start, but I'm gonna have to kind of push myself to continue on that one. Some people really like stitching on words, and I don't mind it, but when there's only words on a piece, it's not my favorite thing. So after a couple days on that, I needed another new start. Part of the problem is I got all these things from Needlework Expo, so I wanted to start them all. I have Butterfly Cloche here by Liz, Hello by Liz Matthews. And I was super happy because I had a piece of Bramble by Picture This Plus, which is what this is called for. I did not have all the called for DMC, so I just kind of substituted, which is fine. And I zipped around and did the whole cloche real fast, and I was doing great. Did some of the, I guess, leaves or plants down at the bottom, and started that butterfly, and then I just kind of lost my mojo with this one. I was like, all right, let's work on something else. I really love the way it looks. I made a couple mistakes, and I was just getting frustrated with it, so I put it back away, and I really want to finish that butterfly, so I might be working on that sooner than later to get that done. So I said that's 36 count rather, Bramble, Picture This Plus. So then I did a couple days where I was hand quilting. I have a quilt that I have been working on for probably like a couple years, and the problem is that I decided I was going to hand quilt this quilt, and I love hand quilting, but I also love cross stitch. So I've been picking cross stitch over the quilting. So I pulled it back out. It was in my bedroom in a basket, and I pulled it out to the living room. So it's right there, and I'm looking at it all the time, and I'm stitching on that a couple days a week, trying to really get that done because it's a beautiful quilt. I'll put a picture of it in here, and I love it. It's a queen size quilt for my bed, and it's about halfway quilted. So I just need to finish it. So I worked on that for a couple days, and then I said, all right, I'm going to go back to cross stitching, and I have been wanting to start Ann Thomas for a while, so let's have another new start. This is why I don't do Mania, because I just start stuff all the time anyway. If I had a whole month of starting stuff, that'd be a lot of I'd have a lot of projects. So this is Ann Thomas by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I am 100% doing this just because the colors are amazing. I've seen a couple people stitching on it. I mean, I like birds. Pigeons maybe aren't my favorite bird. It's not necessarily something that I would have picked up because of the motifs, except I do love the flowers. But the colors in this are gorgeous. So I am doing this with the called for silk. Now I have never kitted up an entire project this large with silk. It was a very expensive endeavor. And what I did was I ordered it from 1-2-3 Stitch. And when it all came, I put it all in thread drops, and I was very happily stitching away, and I went, oh, I need 2916. I don't have 2916, I have 2915. I must have ordered the wrong one, right? Human error. Okay, so then I said, I'll order that later. I wrote the number down and I went back to stitching. I skipped that part. And I over the course of like a day, I found 4 other colors that I didn't have. And then I went through and I looked at all the flosses. I had duplicates where I didn't need duplicates, and I had 4 missing colors and 2 colors that I shouldn't have that I had. So whether I made the mistake or whether they made the mistake in sending it to me, I had ordered them months ago, so I wasn't going to go back and you know, contact them about it. But I will say that next time when I get my threads, I'll check them and I'll make sure that I have every single number I'm supposed to have, because then I had to wait for the 4 colors that I needed, because I started up here in the corner and I needed the second red that's in here, and I needed the beige that was in this white flower, and I needed some greens, and I wanted to finish that corner, but I couldn't because I was missing floss. So I worked on this for a couple days, put it down, and then once I got the floss back in, I worked on it another day or 2, and I love it. It is coming out really nicely. This is 36 count Stars Hollow Blend by R&R. It's also a fat half because technically this fits on a fat quarter, but it only gives you like 1.5 inches all around, which, you know, I mean, I can definitely frame it with 1.5 inches, but I thought, this is a lot of work. And what if I just don't want to cut it close. So this way I have like really nice, huge borders, and I can not worry about that. So I love, 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 love these colors. These silks are wonderful. They are a Vera Soie d'Alger. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm not French, but they're really nice to work with. They aren't getting fuzzy. I have them on thread wraps and I keep just the threads in a bag so they're not like touching the fabric or rubbing up against the chart or anything like that. These charts are really nice. If you haven't seen one before, it has a huge color picture in the center. And the chart is over like 16 pages, and that's because it's in color and it's really nice big squares and easy to read. So I'm enjoying that, and this is like a long-term project. My goal, actually, what I really want to do is I'm up here and I want to go all the way down here so I know how long it needs to be and I can cut off the extra, but it's going to take me a while to get there. So that is another new start that I had. So then I put that down and I said, well, you know, I feel like I want to start something else. Why not, right? I actually saw Lori of Mischievous Stitches stitching on this. She just started it as well. It's by Moho Stitches and it's Redwork Sampler, and she's doing hers in like a rust color. I feel like it's maybe Campfire. And I had bought this with the Needlework Expo stuff that I bought because I like the idea of red samplers. It's one of the laws, right? You got to have one. And I liked the lettering of this and some of the, it was, you know, it's got more than just the alphabet. There's a couple borders in there that are, or bands in there that are nice floral motifs. So I like that. So Lori mentioned that she was going to start hers, and I thought, oh, I think I need to start mine too. So I'm doing this on a scrap that I cut very crookedly. And let me just see. Oh, Hogs Bristle by Fox and Rabbit, which was the first time I've ever used this linen, Fox and Rabbit, and I like it. It reminds me of Extra Design, actually, which is one of my favorites. And I'm using Gloriana Silk Schoolhouse Red. So it's a really deep, dark red, which I like. And I just worked on this for maybe 2 days, 3 days, before my attention got switched to something else. So I really like the way that's coming out, and I like this linen. I like the color, and I like working on it. It's nice. I do think it's like a little bit, I don't want to say stiffer because it's not stiff. It's definitely like floppy. But it's got a little bit more substance to it maybe than some of the Extra Design, but it's very similar to that. So I'm working on that, and that should be a fairly quick one. Hopefully, if I get back to it, I can finish that up. not too long. I have a tendency to start these huge projects and I need to put some smaller ones like that in there. So then, after I put that away, something came in the mail. I had ordered flea market flowers and all the DMC to go with it. So I had to start that too. So Lori Holt and my mom had actually made me, hold on, I'll get it. So my mom had made me this Lori Holt piece. It's a little bit of a glare there. This Sew by Row. So I'm going to hang this in my basement crafty area, and all of the floss that goes with the flea market flowers I thought was kind of similar, and it's not exact, but it's close in color. So I'm going to stitch this up and kind of have it down there too, and just have it, I just like the idea of like a really cheerful, bright kind of color scheme down there, and that's not necessarily what I have going on in the rest of my house, so it's good to have that down in my sewing crafty area, because that can be whatever I want it to be. It doesn't have to match anything. So I worked on this for a couple days and got all of the borders done around all the boxes where the flowers go. And then I just did the big flower, except I didn't do the inside of that because I started with the called for color, which is none of those colors that are there, but like a kind of medium pink. And it's not showing up really well. And the funny thing is I've seen other people's, you know, pictures on Instagram, and I think they're using the called for colors. It looks fine. So I'm not sure. I also tried a couple other pinks. Didn't like it at all. So I don't know if I'm going to leave that, like just not stitch it, because I really like that you can see the pattern in there. Or I'll have to find a different pink to use. So either way, I'm enjoying that one. And I'm going to have to look for a frame that kind of matches the one that I have for the Sew by Row. That kind of teal color. Okay, so one of the most exciting things that I did over the past couple weeks is I went to my LNS, which is Needleworker's Delight, home of Silk Weaver Fabrics, and a whole bunch of ladies from my stitching group were there, and I got to see them, and it was the first time I counted in 448 days that I got to see my stitchy friends. So that was awesome. We couldn't sit and stitch yet. They're not doing that in the store yet. But we got to see each other and shop together, and it just felt really nice to see people again because they have a Zoom a couple times a week, but I haven't really been doing that for a bunch of reasons. You know, just time and, you know, having kids around, and also just being on Zoom for work like all day, every day. You kind of get Zoom fatigue. So I'm going to try and get on there more often, but it was really great to see everybody in person. I didn't see everybody, but the ladies that were there, it was great to see them in person. And one of my friends, Lori, from she has a Flosstube Once Upon a Stitch, she asked me how I was doing on Gilles Leger. And I was like, well, haven't touched that in a while, but I'd really like to get back to that. So that Saturday when I got home from the store, I pulled this out and started stitching on this. I just really enjoy stitching on this. I don't know that I ever would have thought to purchase it, except that I kept seeing other people's finishes and really liking it and wanting to do the pear and that big house and the apple over here. But the part I'm really enjoying stitching are these big cursive letters up here. So I'll show you everything I did in a second, but first I'm going to show you my pear, which is almost finished. It's awesome. It's a huge pear. I didn't finish all the leaves over there, but I had to change out. So I am using some of the colors, most of the colors that Deb from Country Stitches posted on her Instagram. I basically, what I did was I took all of those colors, put them on a floss ring, added some other reds because I thought I might like some different brighter reds in there for the house. And as I'm going along, I'm using the color she suggests, but then sometimes if I feel like, oh no, I actually want to use this color, I'll just substitute with another one of her colors. Or like for that pear, I didn't have the right shade of yellow, so I just grabbed a DMC to do the center of the pear there. So this is going to be a long-term big project, but I'm really enjoying stitching on it. And that's in my Quilted Project Bag, my very amateur attempt to do one. But I needed it to be bigger because the bags that I have don't hold the charts that are from Europe, because they're not 8.5 and 8.5 by 11. It's like a different size there. So I have to either make bigger projects bags or not put them in like a handmade one. You can find like some of the Amazon ones and use those. So after I put G Leger away, I pulled out, I was feeling kind of patriotic because everyone's doing like Americana April, which I haven't been doing, but I like seeing everyone's patriotic finishes and whips. So I pulled out this Land That I Love, and I was just working on this for a couple days in the afternoon after work, and I don't know, something about it, I was like, I like stitching on this, but the thought of doing those 3 houses, I was like, oh gosh, this is huge. It's gonna be, I'm never gonna finish. It's gonna take forever. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to stitch to here, like just from here up, and I'm going to make that into a drum. And then I'm gonna stitch the strawberry section, and I'm gonna make that into a short and stumpy little drum. And I'm not going to stitch the 3 houses. I mean, I like a good house, but I'm still like dealing with my frustration over Winter Rose Manor and that pink house that took forever and ever and ever. And Blackbird Designs Feast of Friendship, that blue house, huge. So I feel like I've done enough houses for right now. And I also think it would be really cute to have these 2 drums kind of next to each other, one taller than the other. So what I have so far is a good start on my first section. And I'm working on, this is a basket full of flowers. So that's what I did this week. And I have to do the basket, obviously, but I did all the flowers. And so the border, or the band, goes like right here where I kind of stopped on the side. So that'll be how tall my drum is. And it'll be pretty wide, pretty like round around, pretty a large diameter drum. And then the strawberries will be the same around but shorter. So this is 32 count. No, I keep saying 32 count, 36 count. I almost always stitch on 36 count. 36 count XG Designs. I think it's Little Dove. Possibly it's Little Gray Dove, but she only has one, and it's either Little Dove or Little Gray Dove. And it's a blue gray. Yeah, it actually is not really coming out as blue as it is, no matter where I put it. But I really love the color with the patriotic colors. So that's coming out pretty well. And I feel better about that since I decided not to do the entire thing, because I have so many huge projects. I'm never going to finish them all if I keep going like this. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, I keep piling up other big projects that I want to do as well. So the next thing I did was I grabbed this bag from Fat Quarter Shop, and I started putting in a bunch of patterns from Priscilla and Chelsea and Hands On Design, and anything that would use black fabric, because when I stitch on black, I stitch on 18 count Aida because it's way easier. So I have the Hands On Design, Let's Talk, Spring, Autumn, and Winter in here. And I have a bunch of Priscilla and Chelsea's patterns, like some of their patriotic ones that they've just recently come out with. I also have this flower one. I really like that truck. So I have them all in here, and I got a bunch of black Aida and kind of cut it up into the sizes I needed. And they use a lot of similar colors for each whether it's patriotic or not, Priscilla and Chelsea use a lot of the same classic color work. So I just grabbed a bunch of the colors that I thought would work, and I started this one just a couple days ago, which is America the Beautiful by Stitching with the Housewives. I just really love that flag and the lettering and everything. So this is what I have so far, and I have a mistake. I'm going to have to rip out the 2 bottom lines of white here. Well, the 1.5, because I wasn't paying attention. People were talking to me and I just did not do that right. So I'm gonna rip that out. I put it away at that point. You should never rip things out when you're angry at your cross stitch, I feel like. So I put it down, and next time I go to work on it, I'll just rip all that white out and start over. So I was thinking that I would just keep, you know, collecting these pieces that I want to stitch on black, and just keep them all in this big huge bag, because I wasn't using the bag for anything else. So rather than have individual project bags when they're all going to use the same fabric and similar floss, I figured I'd just put that in there. All right, so that's all I stitched on. That was a lot, right? So I did a lot of like 1 or 2 or 3 days with things, and then I stopped at that point. So the next thing I want to share with you is some haul and some stitchy kindness. Okay, so like I said, I went to Needleworkers Delight, and I got to see my friends and also do some shopping. So I bought a couple patterns, which I left downstairs. So I'm going to insert some pictures of them, because I don't want to stop and pause and go downstairs and get interrupted by my 6-year-old because he thinks I'm done with my Flosstube. So I bought a hands-on design pattern, and that is for making like a set, like a scissor fob and a pin cushion and a little holder for the pin cushion. And I bought this antique white Zweigart to put those all on. Although part of me also thinks that it might look good with like a beige background. So I don't know. I bought this, and I mean, you can always do something with antique white, but I don't know for 100% if I'll use that. And I also bought the Blackbird Souvenirs of Summer pattern. I don't think I bought that at my L&S, actually. I think I got that from maybe Kitten Stitcher. So I bought the floss to go with all those patterns because I want to stitch everything in there. I know Brenda and Laura are doing their weekend, next weekend of Blackbird design stitching. And I was actually thinking, because I don't do Mania, but I was kind of thinking maybe, I wonder if I could just stitch Blackbird for the whole month of May, because I have the loose feathers for the bird series. I've done 2 of those, and I want to do 9. And so I could work on those. I could work on Souvenirs of Summer. I still have projects from the Sewing Club book kitted up, and I have the Winds of Autumn. I have 2 projects in there kitted up, ready to go. So I was like, maybe I'll just stitch Blackbird designs all the month of May. But all 9 of those projects I just showed you, I still want to work on those too. So who knows? We'll just see what happens. So I bought, while I was at Needleworkers, 36 count Sand Dune by Silk Weaver, and also Heritage. I have a project going on Heritage. I don't remember which one it is, but I like this color, so I bought those 2. So that is what I got at Needleworkers. Oh, and I also bought, let's see if I can take this out of the plastic, by Annie B's Folk Art. I've been looking at this one a lot and feeling patriotic, so I like that one. American Sampler House. I had already bought Liz Matthews Gather Here. So I bought this from Needlework Expo from, I don't know where, maybe Kitten Stitcher. And they use Thread Gatherer Silken Color thread in Smokestack, which is like a gray, blue, black. It's a really dark color. And I decided I wanted to do mine a little brighter. So this is Blue Bonnet. So, I mean, it is still a dark blue, but it's a little bit more blue than black compared to what she used. So that's when I really want to start because it's all one color and there's a lot of white space in there. So I have this ready to go. I just don't know what fabric I'm going to stitch that on yet. And I think that's all I got at Needleworkers. I got, oh, this is my pack of floss for some souvenirs of summer. So I have that ready to go. And I did buy this off of Amazon. Erin Congdon. I always want to say Erin Condren. She's the planner lady. She makes really like not happy planners, but like another kind of planner like that. And it's not Erin Condon, it's Emma Congdon. And she has a whole lot of sayings that she does. So there's a whole bunch of them in here. And I was going to start with this one that says, always be yourself because the people that matter don't mind and the ones that mind don't matter. I just really like those colors. So I bought all the colors of DMC. So at some point I'm going to start that. And I also purchased from Amazon a package of 9 frames. They are white. I'm going to paint them probably blue. And these are going to go for my loose feathers. I'll put a picture here of, I just took all the guts out of this and kind of put it over top of my stitching for one of them just to see if it was the right size. And I think it's going to work, but I definitely I don't want them to stay white, but framing 9 pieces can be really expensive. And I wanted to do a window thing originally, but they're kind of big to fit in any of the windows that I can find. So I think I'm going to paint these blue and just hang them, you know, in a 3x3 arrangement. And first I have to stitch them all, obviously. But I got those, and I think it was like $50 or $60 for all 9 of the frames. I'll frame them myself, and that's a lot less expensive than, you know, getting them professionally done. And no one's walking in my house and critiquing my framing, so I'm just going to go with it. I probably won't put the glass in there because I usually don't. Because then that involves like spacers and stuff, and there's not always enough room in the back for that. But I think that is all. Oh, I got these little pins to go with that hands-on design pincushion pattern that I got. So those little pins are for that. And that's all for cross stitch haul. I did get some Stitchy Kindness from Cynthia Brew. She I think she hand dyed this sari ribbon. So some really pretty colors that I can use for finishing, and I'm excited to try that. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for sending that to me. I really appreciate it. So that was really nice. It's always nice to get something in the mail, you know, that's not like a bill or junk mail or something. So the rest of what I have is quilting stuff. And as I said, I've been kind of getting back into quilting, kind of just thinking of excitedly of having like a big cutting table in the basement and room to sew. Right now my sewing machine is out here in the hallway, and that's fine. It's on a desk, but I don't have a lot of room to like cut things out or, you know, arrange things, and I don't have a good place to store my fabric. I don't have a lot of fabric, although I've been buying some. So I've just been kind of anticipating having this area down in the basement, and I actually probably have quilted more in my life than I've cross-stitched. Cross-stitch I've been doing with this much passion, I guess, for a couple years now, but I did a lot of quilting like from my probably mid-20s for about 10 years in there till my mid-30s, and then kind of like it petered out a little bit. But I do really love quilting, and my mom has a long arm quilt machine, so I don't do anything fancy with the actual quilting, but I just do like free motion quilting. So that allows me to get quilts done pretty quickly because I can just go over there for the afternoon and quilt it after I've pieced it together. So I'm looking forward to doing more now that I'll have some space. So in anticipation of that, of course, I started buying things, which is like, I should probably wait until I actually, you know, make a quilt or two. So first I had started, what happened was I started watching some Flosstubes that also had quilting. Or then I like watch Lori Holt's quilting videos, not just her floss tubes. And I watch Fat Quarter Shop, not Fat Quarter Shop floss tube. So I was just watching a lot of quilting. And I bought some of the Fat Quarter Shop low price patterns, and I also got some of the free ones. So one of the ones I pulled out that I'm actually working on now is this Thimble Blossoms Rain or Shine quilt. And I went over to my mom's house because she has a ton of fabric, and I pulled out, she has a huge bin of 1930s like reproduction type fabric. So that's what I'm doing with these. So I made all my blocks already. So these are just, you know, a bunch of 1930s fabrics. And I mean, from years ago, she's had these, and I've made a bunch of quilts. Actually, oh no, those are feed sack patterns there, but under here, I'm blocking it, but under here, those are 30s fabrics from the same box as this came with my Sunbonnet Sue quilt down there. So I do have a lot of quilts actually that already came from this box of fabrics that my mom has. So those are all done, and now I'm just making the sashing to go in between it. And the sashing makes the, in here, they're like blue stars. Mine will be like a green. So mine will be this and then a solid color like sawtooth triangle on there. So I have to finish the sashing, and then I'll be ready to put this one together. So that was like haul that I didn't really have to buy because mom had the fabric. So that was great. But then I bought a couple books. So I bought this book because I wanted the pattern for the Cross Stitch X. And I didn't realize this book is awesome. It has so many patterns for different blocks. So I guess I can show you the picture there. That's like the cross stitch block, and they tell you how to make that into a whole quilt. And I'm just looking for the pictures. They also have a sampler quilt of like all the blocks together. They have a little like scrap basket type of thing, like a ton of projects in the front. So this is a really great book. It has, I mean, I don't even remember how much it costs, but a lot of patterns in here, like quilt patterns and then block patterns that you could just make into quilts. So that one I bought, and then I got this one, which is Scrap School, and I pretty much want to do everything in here, although some of my favorites are actually, let me see if I can find it here. So I like this blue one, which also is like beige and white backgrounds, kind of like a whole bunch of different. I like the idea of just like all these random backgrounds that don't match each other, but all kind of being in the same quilt, and the look that that has. So I actually have been kind of picking up some background fabrics, and I ordered a bunch more the other day on Fat Quarter Shop, along with all the blue fabrics that I need for that. So I'll hopefully do that soon. And then there's another quilt in here that's, I don't know that it's meant to be patriotic, but it's called Hidden Blocks, and it's done in like red, white, and blue, and that's what I would do it in. This is a pretty, I don't want to say complicated quilt, but there's more steps to doing it. It's not that it's hard, but there's more steps. So you actually are making 4 different blocks, and some are light and some are dark, and so you just have to have like an organization, a method to like, these are my light fabrics and these are my dark fabrics. And so I'm definitely not starting that one until I have my space in the basement. But I did buy from Simple Stitches Fabric Shop 2 patriotic type fabric bundles. So I'm going to use these, and I probably will also need, let me just look, some backgrounds and stuff. So this one, yeah, I mean, it's actually, I feel like that will be fine. I might just need some lighter color. That might not be enough white in there because there's a lot of blue and a lot of red, but I might need to add some whites. So there's 2 quilts that I want to do. And then I found this quilt pattern, and I follow Latimer Lane Quilts. I think she's a long arm quilter, and she had a kit for this, which is, instead of the green, just blue and white. So it's just solid blue and solid white. And then this beautiful fabric for the backing. This is, I think, an easier type quilt to do because it's just one block, just squares, no triangles. I take that back. Have square triangles. Yes? No, 4 patch and squares. So no triangles. So this will be, I think, a quicker one. But again, I don't want to start it yet. I'm trying to hold off. So I have the fabric to do that quilt. And then, because I was just downloading patterns everywhere, I also got this feed sack, True Blue it's called. I don't have any feed sack fabrics, but I found a fat quarter bundle by Riley Blake called Delightful. And it's blues and grays and like a beige kind of mustardy color. My husband said to me the other day, so we're moving all of this furniture down to the basement and we've ordered new couches. And so he's looking around, he says, well, would you want to paint in here? Yes. Yes, I would want to paint. If you are saying, hey, do you want to paint? I am saying yes. So we are going to paint like a real pale gray color downstairs, and I'm going to just have a whole bunch of blue in there, like navy blue and other, what is that, like a cornflower blue? Like, I just really like the idea of all that blue. So I've been like looking for quilt patterns that match my imaginary living room that we haven't painted yet. But that is probably the last time he's going to say, hey, do you want to? Because the answer is always yes, right? And I also either bought or downloaded, I can't remember if this, I think I bought this one, this Thimble Blossoms pattern, but shockingly, I've held back and not bought any fabric for this yet, because I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fabric for 4 quilts plus the one I'm making. I think I probably should stop for now. I signed up for the, what are these, mini charm packs? They're 2.5-inch squares. Practically every quilt I see that I like, you have to cut 2.5-inch squares. So now you get 4 of these a month. So I'm not currently a part of any cross stitch, fabric club or anything. So if you're in a fabric of the month club for cross stitch, it's usually like, I don't know, anywhere between $15 and $20 for a fat quarter, right? Well, this was about that price. I don't know exactly. Like, I think it was like $14, but then you got shipping or whatever, for 4 of these. So I decided, all right, well, I'm going to do this for a couple months and, you know, build up a stash of these little mini charm squares that I could then use in a quilt. Now, of course, the problem is I don't actually want to do anything with these because they are so stinking cute. I just want to look at them. But eventually I will make them into a quilt. There's actually in this book several patterns that call for 2.5-inch squares, and they're scrappy quilts. So you can take, you know, 2 that might look a little different, but you could combine them. So that is all of my quilting haul. The only other thing I bought was this book after seeing Lori from Mischievous Stitches mention it, because it has these cool like rectangular tomatoes, and also just a lot of other fun stuff that you can make with wool. So I think my mom bought the same book, so maybe this summer we'll be just wool appliquing a whole bunch of stuff. I just think that's a great gift to send somebody, right? Like if you're making something for them or sending them a gift anyway, and you like toss in one of these little pin cushions, how cute is that? So, and I don't think they would take too long to make. So, once that basement's done, I don't know that I'm ever coming out of it because I've got a lot of stuff I want to do. But, I actually think that's everything. The mess on the bed has migrated from one side to the next. So I think that's all I have to share with you. I'm going to try to come back in 2 weeks because I have a week off from grad school then, so I should have time, fingers crossed, to come back. But if I'm kind of in the middle of organizing my space in the basement, I might hold off another week if I think I could show it to you like more finished. So we'll see. But I'm hoping that next time I will be coming to you from a new location and have like a much better space to film and also to work in. So anyway, I hope you are all doing well and having plenty of stitchy time and staying healthy. And thanks so much for coming by and watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.